Hey there, happy Friday to you all. It doesn't even seem like Friday, right? With everything going on, every day kind of seems the same these days. But for those of you who are still able to work, happy Friday to you. Hopefully, you got a weekend coming up here, something you can enjoy. It was a great show, great week on Coffee with Dr. Scott. Some of the shows really had some great information. I'm going to share all that with you today, kind of get you caught up on the recap show. All right, hey there. Thanks for joining me on a Friday morning. Glad to have you with me. Let me get my show opened up here. I should probably do that during the intro video, shouldn't I? So I can see what's going on. All right, got it. Anyway, so question of the day today is, what is your new family routine that you're doing now since the shutdown? So I want to know, you see all the posts, everybody has great ideas, but what are you doing for your family that's different than what you've done before that you're using this extra time for? Let me know in the comments down below, please. I put mine down there already. We've been playing a lot of Rummy Cube, if you know what that is. It's tiles instead of cards. It's very similar to Rummy. And it's like there's two decks. But the kids, my 8-year-old and 10-year-old, are just doing some amazing things with math with it. It's really cool to see them see the numbers and put stuff together. So we've been having a great time with that. We've been talking about starting to play charades. Have not got into that yet, but I think we're going to. Hey, Dr. Carmelo, see you joining me there. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you answer the question of the day. As always, show me some love. Hit the thumbs up or the heart button, please, if you'd be so kind. Hopefully you caught all the shows this week. But if not, I'm here to make sure that you get all the information there. I also put all the links to this week's shows in the description, which might be above, might be below. I don't know where that one is. So you can go back and catch the ones that sound good to you. But first and foremost, again, make sure you answered the question of the day. I've got a bunch of stuff popping up on my screen. I need to turn that stuff off. Anyways, let's get started with Monday's show. Monday is where I'm sharing the secrets of high performance chiropractors. We started off last week with Quit Trying Harder, which I got a response back saying that basically what you said was work smarter, not harder. Yes and no. It's part of it, pretty cliche, obviously, but it really is the fact that the big takeaway from the Quit Trying Harder was it doesn't matter how hard you work if the ladder's up again, if you're not doing the right thing. It doesn't matter how good you do the things that you do if you're not doing the right thing. So it's not just to work smarter. It is really to take some time, figure stuff out, and make sure that you're doing the right things. This week, however, was to ignore conventional approaches. And here I made the point that if you just want to grow a modest amount, if you just want conventional growth, if you want incremental growth, that's fine with me. That's cool. And if that's what you want to do, then keep doing what everybody else is doing. And you'll get exactly that. However, if you really want to make big changes in your chiropractic practice, but also in your life, you've got to shift. You've got to find, I hate to say either what more successful people are doing, because that's what worked for them, or really start looking deeper into yourself and figure out what you want to accomplish and set goals and back up and determine what it's going to take to get there, as opposed to just doing what everybody else is doing. So you've got to ignore conventional approaches. High performance chiropractors ignore conventional approaches. They try something different. They're more fluid. Instead of butting their head up against the wall, they kind of go with the flow, and they get a lot more done that way. So Monday's show, again, ignore conventional approaches. That is high performance chiropractor secret number 2. Number 3 will be coming up this Monday. On Tuesday, we talked about a great little exercise, and if you missed this one, you should go check it out. It's only going to take you about 15 minutes to do the exercise, and it's really going to help you get some clarity. So we talked about clearing off your mental desk, which is very different than, not much different, than clearing off your physical desk. It really is getting all the stuff out of your brain. Let me use the analogy. I always talk about when I walk into a chiropractor's office and I see a messy desk, and I let them know that they can't get where they want to get to with that messy desk, and they're like, oh, whatever, it's nothing. However, when they clear it off like I tell them to, and then they come back to me like, yeah, that really did help. Clearing off your physical desk, there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either look through everything and decide, all right, I don't need this, I don't need that, and you still end up with a bunch of crap on your desk that you still don't need. Or you can do my method, which is get everything off your desk, just swipe it into a box, put that box in the closet, and then sit there and work. And whatever you need, you're going to go get. And you'll bring back a couple pieces, only the couple pieces you need, and your desk stays clean that way. Very similar method to clearing off your mental desk. It really is to just get everything out of your brain, put it all on a piece of paper. Set that paper aside as you do some more processing. Figure out what's important to you, what you can work on, what you can't. We basically cross things off the list that we can't affect. A lot of the stuff going on in the world today, we can't do anything about, and there are certain things we can. So putting all that on paper, then deciding what it is you need, moving that over to a different sheet of paper, either burning or crumpling up the paper that is no good to you anymore, the things you can't control, and focusing your energy and effort. So that's the clear your mental desk exercise. That's the Reader's Digest version of it. You should do it. So go back and watch Tuesday's show. Really follow that clear your mental desk exercise. Again, that's something that I recommend you keep clean, meaning it's a daily exercise, but to do it one time first to get all that stuff out there, and then on a nightly basis. We talk about in our morning routine series about a nightly brain dump. And I think it's very important for everybody to do that. Let's see, I missed all my things there. That's where we should be. Sorry. So to do it first, one time, and then keep it clean is very, very important. As we move on, we talked about perfect case acceptance. So I defined it last week that perfect case acceptance is everybody, all your patients accepting all your recommendations, scheduling that care, showing up for that care, paying for that care, and then happily going out into the community, dragging all their friends and families into your office pre-sold to do the same thing with referral intensity, which is the next thing we're going to talk about. So that is perfect case acceptance and should be our goal in our day one, day two, or just day one if that's the way you do things. However, I made the point this week that there's no selling in healthcare. You cannot come across as being salesy, especially now. People used to get away with it, and I need to control what I say here, but I meet a lot of these doctors who did very well in the 90s, the early 2000s, because they were very salesy and made millions of dollars. And what do they call them? Mercedes 80s into the 90s. And now are struggling mightily. Not only are they struggling, they're getting very, very bad reputations as used car salesmen because they still have that salesy mentality that worked back then. This day and age, especially, that does not work. If you get that reputation as being all about the money, there is no way you're going to have the success that you're looking for. It has to be about the relationship. It has to be about the care. Now, I make the point, I make it very clear, you do have to sell. And I know a lot of you doctors like, I don't want to be, you still have to sell. You still have to present a case. You still have to have some techniques, but you cannot come across as being salesy when it comes to healthcare. No one wants to feel sold or pushed by their doctor to do something more than they want to. And by the way, don't make that come across the wrong way either. I don't want you to sell or push for more than they want to either. As we work on this perfect case acceptance, you'll see that I want you to find balance. Balance between being very non-assertive and not presenting anything as a case, which is where a lot of chiropractors have gotten to. They feel like maybe they pushed too hard before and they kind of rebounded all the way back. So balance between that and being overly salesy and coming across as a used car salesman. We got to find that balance in the middle. That balance that presents a case, tells the patient exactly what they need, but then cheerfully gives them what they want. Doesn't push, allows the patient to have some control. That's what we're working on in perfect case acceptance. And again, this week, there's no selling in healthcare. Just made the point that you have to present without ever coming across as salesy. And if you do, you're really going to hurt your practice. You can destroy your practice that way very, very quickly. And if you read if you travel as much as I do, and you just do some Google searches, and you read some of the Yelp reviews for local chiropractors, you're going to find some really, really horrible ones because people were selling. A lot of times because they put out a Groupon, and then these Groupons come in, and they try to upsell them to something else, and those Groupon people will complain at the drop of a hat, needle, pin. What do you drop? Drop of a hat, right? Yes. Anyway, so there's no selling in healthcare. If you missed that show, go back and check that out. Let's see what else we got here. Yes, make sure I get the right buttons. Referral intensity, really one of my favorite topics. Referrals are my jam. Definitely something I want you to build your practice on. And I make the point here in referral intensity on yesterday's show that getting referrals alone is not enough. It's not just about you having a couple people call in, saying, or you asking. That's a big thing. It's like if I ask a doctor or staff, how can we get more referrals? Like, well, we can ask our patients. No, if you have to ask, you're doing something wrong. We want to create referral intensity. We want to inspire referrals just from how we practice, not from asking. And if you can set up your systems and procedures to create that referral intensity, leading towards the epitome of a referral intensity, which is the same day referral, where a new patient comes into your office and before the end of that day, that new patient has already referred somebody else, whether it be their spouse or a friend. When they go out to the parking lot after their visit and they call somebody and tell them to call your office, set up an appointment, that's referral intensity. And if you hear that and you're like, that would be really cool, it's possible. Not only is it possible, it happens a lot in different offices. The problem is you haven't set up your systems to inspire that. And if you look at your systems that way, if instead of just trying to get through that process, if instead of just taking a patient in and trying to explain to them, if you explaining their case to them and really looking at a couple visits with them, if you really meet every new patient with that in mind, and you design your systems to not only get that patient to become a lifetime patient, which whatever that means to you, does not mean that they're, some of you feel like that's overwhelming a patient. But I'm just saying a lifetime patient in the sense that they come see you now, and when they need you in the future, you're their chiropractor, and you're their chiropractor for life. Whether that's pain control or whether that's wellness-based, that's completely up to you. But if you start that relationship with the mindset that I want this person to be my patient, my customer for life, and on top of that, I want them to refer with intensity, and you design your systems to inspire that, it's a whole different ballgame, and you're going to have a much more results. I don't know if you guys can hear that Chaim ring, but he is literally right outside my window today. Finishing up the back of our house. There it is. So I'm going to shut down for the day. Again, all the links you need are in the description. I need to tell him that until 8:15 he can't do that. Anyways, I'll be back next Monday, 8 a.m. Central Daylight Time. We've got a great set of shows set up for you next week already as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I hope you all have a great weekend. Make sure you answer the question of the day. I never know which way to point. What's your new family hobby or routine since the shutdown? And I will talk to you all next week.